What is up, intuitive sheepdogs? Welcome to another podcast episode of the Intuitive Sheepdog Podcast with your host, me, Autumn Schmidt. As always, excited to be here with you. Today is the second episode in this mini series called Dear Chief. This podcast mini series has been created because I'm trying to bridge the gap between boots on the road and the administration. I think there's a lot of things that need to be said, a lot of questions we need to ask so that we can all get on the same page. And so, of course, this podcast was created from, a patrol officer's perspective, i.e. mine. And so the series is all about asking the chief questions. And so today the question is, Dear Chief, have you just become another politician? So before we dive in, quick shout out to our sponsor at The Badge Life. Hit them up on I was gonna say YouTube. I think they have YouTube, but hit them up on Instagram, hit them up on Facebook, go on their website, check them out, thebadgelife.com. They're getting onto TikTok. They're really an innovative brand. They're cool. And guess what? If you use the code sheepdog, you get free shipping. Fuck yeah. So go check them out. All right. So let's dive in. So Dear Chief, have you become just another politician? So I'm just going to be honest. I know that when you become the head of a department, it becomes very political. I actually sat down with some very high ups with a police department, and they were telling me how they would have to go to legislature and how political it really, really is. And it blew my mind. I mean, and these aren't even the number ones of the department. I mean, they were lieutenants, and they were having to go to the legislature and fight for this law and that law and all these things. And that's political, and that's obviously a lot of stress. So let's take it back for a moment. And again, I just want you guys to know, I'm just trying to bridge the gap for all of us here, because I know as a patrol officer, I totally I would get so mad and be like, they totally don't have my back. They have no fucking idea what we're doing anymore. And I'm going to be honest, for the 99% of the chiefs out there, they really don't know what we do. They have no idea. Policing has changed so much within the last 10 years. I mean, and a lot of them have been off the road 15, 20, 25 years to get to where they're going. And so, yeah, I mean, they don't have a clue anymore. And that's the truth. So, obviously there's going to be a ton of resentment, right? There's just a lot of resentment because the boots on the ground, they do not feel valued. They do not feel, supported, cared about, understood. And if they're feeling like that about their administration, well, let me tell you something. They are totally going to have a ton of animosity towards the public as well. I mean, that's a given. Of course, of course they are. They are going to be so upset with, everything. And then they're going to bring that home, and then it's going to affect their family life and their personal relationships. I mean, it's going to go all the way around. And so my idea is, we need to understand each other. And so, Chief, you need to understand that you've been off the road. Just own that. Just own it. Yeah, you've been off the road. You have no idea. So why don't you spend some time with your patrol officers, not their sergeants. Spend some time with your officers and get to know what they're really doing and what life is really like on the road. And so you can have a better understanding of what you're dealing with when you're up, dealing with the politicians. When you're up dealing and being political, you can at least have a very informed firsthand knowledge of what the hell is going on, because many times we don't, and I think one thing we have to take into consideration on both sides is we're cops. We're just cops. Okay. We are cops, and cops get promoted up through the ranks. And while now I would say that you could consider our jobs professions, we have very educated and experienced people coming into our line of work. And, it is much more like a profession now than it has ever been. At the end of the day, cops are cops, and we're common sense driven. We are fighting, for our lives in every situation and every day. And we are problem solvers. We are direct. We are straight to the point. We're not going to take any shit. We have a very hard time biting our tongues. We tend to be more type A than type B. And so when we start getting promoted and up into these ranks of, where we're going, chief, deputy chief, major, light colonel, etc., we kind of lose that copiness a little bit, and we step into the more of a politician's seat, right? Because you're trying to run this department, but like you're fighting a lot of shit. I mean, at the end of the day, you're fighting a lot of stuff, like, cities and towns and states, like, and they want to take your money. They want to take all of your money. They want to cut your positions. They want to do all these things. And so like you're no longer fighting crime that way. You're fighting the laws, kind of like, right? Like that's kind of what you're doing. But at the end of the day, they're still cops. Like our chiefs are still cops. And so I'm imagining, and I have no idea, but I'm imagining they're finding the political game to be extremely stressful. And so but by the end of the day, like I just want to underline this, like they're still cops. And so they're used to fighting the bad guys and fighting crime and doing things like that. But so now they're not doing that. They have to watch their tongue. They have to say things just right. They have to present ideas and materials a certain way, right? Where, we had to present the idea of, whether this person did it or not in a certain way, and present the idea of going to jail and make it fucking nice. Like, we've had to do that as cops, right? But we never really presented ideas of, we need more people, we need more money, don't cut our budget, this law, that law, whatever, this policy, that policy. Like, we never really had to do that. And so like, I'm imagining that their stress levels are extremely high. And obviously, so here's the thing, and here's where the culture needs to shift, okay? I'm not asking for chiefs anywhere to be big babies. It's not what I'm saying, but I am saying that like you could change your culture in your police department fucking immediately by going down and just having real conversations and being a human. I just think that we've really lost our humaning. We've lost who we are. And I don't think that, and like, I'm not shitting on it, although I don't love the humanizing the badge movement, because I believe that the humanizing the badge needs to come from within the department. I think that humanizing the badge should start from the top and then go down. And that should start by the chief sitting down and roll call with their guys and being like, yo, look, I'm fucking stressed. And here's why. I'm going to tell you why. I have an idea with this, and this, and it's stressful. I just want you to know. There's a lot of days I wish I was just out doing what you guys are doing, and stuff like that. It was easier. And then that would open the doorway for chief. Yeah, we appreciate that. But the job really is not what it was, 15 years ago when you were on the road. We wish we were patrolling back then too. Okay, really? Let's talk about it. Tell me about it. Well, we're dealing with these pressures. We're dealing with this, and this. And like, how would you like if you were on video camera all the time and people were only catching glimpses of what you were doing? And how would you like it if, every time you talk to an individual, it doesn't matter, what their race was, they're throwing the race card at you, and like, you feel bad because you're not trying to do that. But so many, there's been a lot of cops that have come before you that have fucking ruined it, and so we're over here mending our fucking relations. And we're doing all these things, and it's hard. It's hard. And the communities hate us, and that people really think we're out to jam them up. And, like, and different things like that's what it's like. And, I think that those conversations need to happen. So dear chief, do that, come down and show us that you're human, show us that you're real, and show us that you haven't become another politician. Show us that you're still that police officer that, we want or expect or hope that you are. I think, again, we have gotten to a time where the police departments are completely split. 100% just split. The top and the bottom just split. And I can tell you that from the old police department I used to work at, the split was just ridiculous. Like we felt Like the patrol officers totally felt like they were on their own. And then they had the corporals and sergeants completely felt like they were on their own. And then like the administration. So that was, they didn't have any lieutenants at the time. It was just, it went from sergeant to deputy chief. That was two of them. And they, and them and the chief, like they were doing their thing. And like, so, just completely separate, complete, just absolutely like no team feeling, no, nothing like that. And it did not warrant for a good, culture, for a good atmosphere, a good work atmosphere. It just really wasn't. It wasn't a good spot. So, the reason I'm bringing these things up is like, Chief, like, are you just a politician? I probably am going to guess that you aren't on the inside, and on the inside that you really do believe that you're doing these things for the police department and all of these things. But you've got to show your people. You have got to show your guys that you're still a cop. And so the way that you do that is you come down and you talk with us, and you have real conversations. Real. I mean, real. I think that the number one thing that is killing our culture in law enforcement is the fact that nobody is real anymore. And it goes to show with all these videos, these funny videos, which, listen, they have a place and they have a point, and I'm not shitting on them entirely. I mean, I like to make funny stuff too. Hey, listen, I just discovered TikTok. I'm all about it. So don't get all triggered by that. But also understand that if that's all you do, because, and all you do is bust people's balls. Like, look, I can tell you that's all a lot of cops know how to do. Like my husband, I'll give you an example. He'll go and he'll spend he has 1,000 different specialties. No, he's got 2, but it feels like 1,000. And so he's gone all the time. Like he does these things. And so like when he does overnights and he'll go on like week-long trainings and shit, when he comes back, he is nothing but sarcastic. And he doesn't mean anything by it, but that's the culture. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill you. I don't give a shit about your sarcasm. I'm done with your bullshit fucking jokes, but that's the culture. Like I just remember sitting down and like trying to just have like normal conversations with the officers and trying to connect, and they couldn't. It was a barrier. It was a wall. They would bust my balls. Like they would just, tease me and pick on me, and I'd be sarcastic. And I'm like, dude, like you are so fucked. Like you can't even have a relationship. Like you can't have a conversation. And again, like that starts, in my opinion, from the top down. We need to start modeling what that looks like if we're going to change the culture. If we're going to, and again, that a politician looks pretty fake, except, our president, he doesn't look fake at all. But what's everybody say about him? He's not a politician. Why? Because he's not fake. He's real. When he has an emotion, he's going to show it to you. When he thinks something, he's going to tell it to you. And, he wears his emotions right on his sleeve. That's kind of how it seems. I don't know, but that's real. Whether you like him or not, that's not the question. But he's showing us that he's real. And I have to say that, Chief, if you could just listen to what I'm saying, and just understand that, that's what we need to see more of. Your boots on the road need to see more realness. And then that's going to trickle down, and they're going to be able to be real, and they're going to actually be able to deal and cope with their fucking emotions. And you are going to have a lot less issues, a lot less pissed off cops, and a lot more productivity. And then from there, you're going to be able to bridge the gap between community and the police officers. You're going to be able to bridge it. These bridging initiatives and humanizing the badge initiatives need to start within the police department and then trickle out to the communities, and you're going to see a big difference, but not until. Sheepdogs, it's been a really fun second little episode on the miniseries. Stay tuned. I got some surprises, got some more stuff. I'm excited for the next one. The next one is, Dear Chief, the conditions I work in suck. I'll see you next time, Sheepdogs.